Hello, you fantastic little marketing bees. You're tuned into episode 47 of the Marketing Buzzword Podcast.
This is the Marketing Buzzword Podcast, the podcast where we dissect the world's most common marketing buzzwords. Hold on tight. We are about to fly around the beehive to see the latest buzzwords that stuck to the marketing bees.
Hello again, and welcome back to the Marketing Buzzword Podcast. This is the podcast which helps you to understand what all these business and marketing buzzwords actually mean, and whether they can be helpful or not going forward. I'm your host, Ben Roberts, and in this show, I'm the marketing bee in charge of making sure I can get on the right guests and ask the right questions to make sure that these words and phrases actually make sense. And in today's show, we're going to make sense of the buzzword social contesting. Alright? So, really cool conversation coming up. But before I do that, I need to remind you this podcast is powered by Talkative. Talkative is a company that brings together live, web chat, web calling, video calling, and co-browsing in one package. Embeds into your website just 3 lines of code, allows you to offer a seamless customer journey through the website, allows you to track more information about your customers, convert more sales, and be able to improve your customer service. Take a look at talkative.uk for all the information. Also, we are very much in the final throes of the crowdfunding campaign for my new book. Couple of days left. Honestly, please, if you haven't yet, and I know there are the amount of people that I know that listen to the show, $15 pre-order a copy. The book is going to be looking to be launched in January, February time. Going to have the full manuscript ready by the end of September, start of October. It's getting a really exciting time. I've got all the prep done now, starting to gather some more case studies. I'm really looking forward to getting this out there. So please Google Marketing Buzzword to Marketing Authority. Take a look. There's a link to it from the website as well. Just click on the book tab and you'll go and find out all about it. Please, $15 is all I'm asking. It's about $11.50, 13-ish euros. Depends on what the currency rate is. But it'd be really cool if you get involved and help support the campaign before it ends. Yeah, and now that's more enough about me. It's time to introduce this week's guest. Now, this week's guest is a lady who I met at a conference in America called Desiree Martinez. And Desiree is an entrepreneur, domestic wannabe, and Harry Potter junkie, known for her social media content plans and always saying yes to new adventures. Desiree is a social media marketing entrepreneur, Air Force spouse, and is the host of the Marketing for Your Boring Business podcast. She is also the founder of All-in-One Social Media, a subscription social media service focused on helping small business grow through focused social media content, while also putting military spouses to work no matter where they are stationed in the world. She's also an award-winning social media professional and the founder of Social Day Phoenix. Really excited to share this with you. Desiree packs so much information into this episode, and I can't wait for you to listen. Right, I'll get my words out. That's more enough from me. Let's get on with the show. Hi Desiree, and welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem at all. I mean, you've got up super early to be on this call, so I'm going to make sure that we sort of try and keep you awake for the entirety of the conversation.
Ben, you are worth getting up for, and this is a fantastic way to start my day, so don't even worry about it.
Oh, you're too kind. No, but I'm really excited about this, because this is something that maybe not a huge amount of people talk about in terms of actually calling it social contesting. But actually, a lot of people run competitions, especially on social. So I thought when we started having these conversations, I mean, we've met before, but we started having these conversations, and you said about social contesting, it sort of really piqued my interest to something I think that the guys and girls listening to this podcast would really enjoy, and it's something that you've obviously got a huge amount of experience and knowledge in, so it just makes a huge amount of sense. But I think before we sort of really dive into the nitty-gritty of it, I want you to sort of try and explain what is social contesting and how is it different from what people perceive as running a traditional sort of competition?
Sure. So social contesting is where you're using social media to promote your contest, as in you're not using the platform to run it. You're trying to use the platform to get the word out about your contest. And it's all about the other side of the social contest, not the contest, but the social part, getting people to socialize with you around your contest. Other contests that people probably are more familiar with in sort of like the boring standard way are things like, um, fill out this piece of paper and put your name in a bin kind of a thing and hope that you get selected. Or things you used to go on a website and just put your name in and that's it. And so social contesting is about trying to really get that engagement, get that growth, and really think about like, what is it I'm trying to get out of this promotion, this contest, to help my social media and my overall online marketing strategy.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm starting to paint a picture here, and I've got a couple of ideas that I think I want to sort of maybe quiz you on and try and sort of extract some of this knowledge that you've got. And the first one, I think you sort of alluded to a little bit in what you said there. It was, is social contesting essentially holding a contest on a social platform itself, or can it merely be promoting another form of contest on another platform, but just promoting it via social? Or is social contesting specifically actually running the competition on the social platform?
So I think that it's a little of both depending on what you're doing. But the main thing is you want to make sure that you're using social media to promote as a promotion tool, not that you're running the contest on the social platform. I would say the only exception to that would be is if you're doing like an Instagram contest. I have a really good friend who runs an Instagram page called Geeks Who Eat, and they come up with all these like great recipes that are pop culture related. And so like right now she has a contest going on her Instagram account where they're giving away a digital copy of Avengers Infinity War. And in order for you to enter to win, you have to follow their Instagram account, like their post, and tag a friend. And so that's what they're using as sort of like the foundation for their Instagram contest. But when you're trying to actually run a contest on like a different, bigger way, like you're trying to get opt-ins for email, you're trying to get people to give you some user-generated content or UGC, or do something like upload a video or whatever it may be, that's when you want to make sure that you are using the platform more to promote what you're trying to accomplish versus actually running the contest through the social platform.
Yeah, okay. That distinction makes a lot of sense, isn't it? Again, it depends on sort of the platform, what you're actually contesting, what you're in the competition about. And one of the things that I picked up on there was one of those things that we've seen for a long time on social in terms of competitions, and it's that like our page, comment on our post, share it. So, is that stuff actually? One, does it work? 2, is it not against algorithms? And 3, is it not slightly spammy? Maybe I want to split those up a little bit more, but maybe you could sort of give some insight upon those 3 specific things, because from someone from the outside, because I don't really run any social competitions, it's not really something that I've considered. Maybe it is something that I should consider for the company I work for. But if I do it that way, am I not being perceived as any one of those 3 things against damaging the algorithm, sort of being spammy, or just generally not good practice? Or is it something that actually is still pretty standard and pretty okay?
There's a lot there, so let's try and unpack them one at a time. Okay, so is this going to work for you? So was your first question, like, is this like, I think that to answer your question, the question is, I think it's more about asking yourself, why am I doing this? A lot of people try to run social contests in the wrong way, which is for vanity metrics. Like, I need more likes on my page. And, if you're looking to just get likes on your page, you can run a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad or whatever it may be and just, get those vanity metrics. But vanity metrics are hard because you might not be getting the right people liking your page. They might only be opting in to your Facebook page because you're giving them, they're trying to win something. That's what a lot of people do. Like if you think about people who do like couponing, people who coupon will just like pages to get the coupon for the deal or the promotion that they're trying to like get the discounted or free item for. And that's not what you want. You really want to ask yourselves, think about like the two big reasons as to why you'd run a contest, which is I personally think engagement, and you're looking to grow your email list and you're following through like you're getting your perfect customer avatar. And so you really have to, I think like that's the why of why you would do a contest: valuable engagement and like email growth, because that's kind of where you're going to be able to continue having those conversations with your potential customer after the contest is over. And then so on your question about being spammy, of course people would think it as spammy, but other people might think that has value. I really think that it depends on your contest having value and relevance to your brand. So when I was in my earlier years of social media marketing, I was a social media producer for a local TV station. And all they cared about was the vanity metric of keeping up with another station's Facebook page. It's very similar. Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with TV ratings, but all that matters at the time, I'm for sure it's probably still the same, is like, are we the number one station in the area? Where are we at with that? And so it became the same thing with their Facebook page. And so they became obsessed with this vanity metric of how many likes they had. So even though I had the data to prove to them that they had more engagement than all of the other Facebook pages and then with other networks, they didn't have the same number of followers, and it drove them crazy. And so they would run these vanity contests where they'd be like, oh, we'll pay your rent for a year. Oh, we'll give you a TV. Oh, win the season tickets to the Arizona Cardinals, all that kind of stuff to try and get people to just like their page and get that vanity metric up. And that became spammy because it was irrelevant to their brand and focused on totally the wrong thing. And so when you have these other pages and stuff that are doing things like us and enter to win an iPad, or like us and win this Amazon gift card, I think that we as users know at that point, like subconsciously, and we marketers know specifically, that it's 100% for vanity metrics versus actual quality followers.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the difficult things, specifically for people that don't work day to day in marketing, or at least haven't come up through marketing itself. It's really, or even actually worked in marketing 10 years ago, maybe have lost touch. Is actually we've been moving away from those vanity metrics for quite a long time now. But people who are outside the industry still judge you upon it. And again, so for example, the layman who's out in the industry, so any of us, we would probably judge sometimes how good if all these ratings come out, all these listener ratings, all these different things. So I know we have in the UK, we have these things called the Raja ratings, which looks at sort of the listening figures on radio. And actually, those are massive, but they are just listening figures. Actually, it doesn't, and people are obsessed with them. But yeah, it doesn't go into all the different details, such as all different geography. It doesn't go into listening time, dwell time, all these different things. Again, with this podcast, when I look at my metrics, I try and look at all these different things that are going on. It's trying to understand actually how long, on average, are people listening to each of these episodes, and it's fascinating actually, and that is so much more powerful. And I guess that's where, with these social contesting, is trying to actually think not necessarily just those top level metrics. It's actually what are you trying to get, as opposed, because yes, obviously you want more likes, you obviously want more shares, great, that's all fantastic, but actually you want to be going down another level, and that's where the real value in the contesting is. Am I right in sort of saying that?
Absolutely, because again, it all comes back to your why. Well, the whole reason that we spend so much time on social media is because we're trying to build valuable relationships with people who are our customers and who can potentially be our customers. And so it's so important to remember that same principle applies in the contest. Like you're trying to give to your followers and potential followers and something valuable and something relevant to your brand. And in return for you giving, what you're getting, hopefully in return, is a way to continue to communicate with them. And whether that be through the social channel of, that you desire to grow, or, which I prefer to be better, growing your email list so you have a way to stay connected with them off of social media. That's what you're hoping for in the end, and that's what truly matters, because like we always say in our marketing world, it's better to have a valuable list of 1,000 people versus just 10,000 people whose emails go to their spam box.
Yeah, no, I think that's something that not enough people think about in terms of contesting. Actually, it's the data capture, and we all know about it. When you go onto a landing page on website, you should be capturing data. When you create content, you create this downloadable content or gated content. You're doing it because you want to collect data, and actually, people don't necessarily think about that in terms of contesting. Now, I understand why people wouldn't, because they'd argue that it's a barrier towards entry, so they wouldn't get as many people entering into the competition if the competition's not seen as popular. And it could be a great prize, so they could have a really good prize, but because you've put a barrier in there in terms of providing an email address, are brands then not doing that because they don't see that they look at it and go, from an outsider's perspective, is that there hasn't been that reach in that competition, so therefore it's not seen as a popular competition for whatever reason. Because obviously it's like a domino effect, like with crowdfunding and with sort of likes on things. Once you have 1 or 2 likes, suddenly it's more likely to start spiraling. If you have a really low number, then actually you get less people generally entering the competitions.
I just think that the reason people do contests, it's just they don't understand what they're doing. Like I said, I think it all comes back to, I want more likes, I want to seem popular, I want to seem like we have a lot going on, and so they're just doing it for all of the wrong reasons. I really think that's what comes on. When you see something good. And when you see something that you're just going to keep that thumb scroll past. And I really think that we as like a culture and society are really not buying the how many likes thing anymore.
No, I agree on that. And again, it's always, I think a lot of the themes that come back from everything I've done in this podcast and what I'm talking about is always come back to your why and why you do something. What is the purpose and what's the actual outcome? And speaking of one of the things that you just mentioned there is people know a good sort of competition when they see one. So I've got sort of 2 questions. I'm just going to ask the first question this time. Instead of bombarding you with all 3 at the same time, is in terms of prizes. Now, what is good or bad practice around this? Should you be offering potentially a prize that's really related to your company and your industry? Should you offer something that's just could be absolutely anything but just seen as highly valuable? Do you offer something that's highly specific? What sort of guidance have you got around there? So for example, I used to work for an outdoor and survival company, so we used to offer something just that was really specific outdoor and survivally, and yet we didn't have a huge amount of competition, and yet a huge amount of entries. And then suddenly we had other ones where we were offered I think it was something like a GoPro or something, and we had so many entries, and we did have a load of email sign-ups as well. Now, how many of those I left the company, so I can't sort of remember the ongoing statistics behind that. But is there any sort of best or good practice advice to give around sort of certain prizes and how you'd sort of pitch your competition?
Yeah. So the bigger the prize, the longer the contest. I think is the best way to kind of think of it. So
in terms of number of days or weeks or months it goes on for?
Exactly.
Okay.
So let's use my friends at Geeks Who Eat as the ongoing example again. So right now they're giving away a digital copy of Infinity War on their Instagram account. They posted it on a Tuesday. The contest ends on Friday because it's run specifically through social, and social still has a shelf life. But for bigger contests where maybe they were going to give away like an entire Marvel Blu-ray and digital copy collection, maybe like a copy of their new book, something like that, something really big that has a high value, they want to get a lot more out of it. They're looking for more than just Instagram likes. They're looking for, I want you to follow us on social. I want you to be on our email list. We're going to give you extra entries by sharing on social and tagging friends and all that kind of stuff. They really are investing in getting the word out with the ultimate goal of growing their social and growing their email list.
Yeah.
And so that would be something they probably would run for like 2 to 4 weeks. I don't think contests need to be months and months. It's not like you're promoting an event. But I think that it is still but also when you get into it being longer, you also have to make sure that your sharing and promotion plan matches that. It's easy to post something once or twice and say, oh, you have till Friday to enter to win. But when you're doing something that grand and that big, it's sort of like you have to continue the investment with things like, doing video, putting ad dollars behind it, and really investing in getting that extra growth in your list and audience.
Yeah, I guess it's a bit like sort of the 80-20 rule of content, really, isn't it? If you go spend that 20% of time coming up with a competition, designing something, choosing the right prize, getting all the stuff together, then you've actually got to spend a heck of a lot of time promoting it in order to be able to get a value out of it. Now, how do people decide on the budget then that they would spend for each campaign? Because obviously what you don't want to do is you don't want to be making necessarily a loss on this. So is gathering data enough of a ROI to warrant spending so much money and promoting a big campaign? So are there any other metrics that businesses or people should consider? Because trying to look at it, I'm trying to think, okay, I could sort of set up a competition with a reason. We say I've already spent massive amounts on a prize. Say I spent $500 on a prize, and then okay, I want to put an ad budget behind it of let's pay it, say 1,000. So there we go. That's already 1,500 in there. Now, what sort of data? I mean, I guess it's a bit difficult because we don't have a context in terms of a business. But is there a way that you go, people need to consider certain things in order to make sure there is value for money and it does have a return on investment?
So I think it's about kind of, again, breaking down a couple different things. The first thing is obviously your why. What are you trying to accomplish? Then based on what your why is going to determine how big your prize is and then how much you invest in the promotion of this contest. Like I said, my friends over at Geeks Who Eat, who it's not even them paying for these 3 digital copies. They have a partner for it, so they're just doing the promotion and hoping that their partner's getting more followers and they're getting more followers from it. And then at the end of the day, they just get those digital copies out. But if you're looking at something bigger, and so I think that this is also really important for us to think about heading into the time of year. So at the time of this recording, it's August, and we're heading into the holidays. And contesting is a great way for the holidays, not just for holiday sales, but you have to think about the first quarter of the new year, where sales overall across the board tend to be lower. So it's about using what you're doing now to plan for later and putting a value on every single person that you can talk to later. And so that's what you have to really sit down and figure out when it comes to what you are putting together to give away and how much you're willing to spend, not only financially, but also your time into promoting a contest with the long game in mind.
No, I think that's a really important point, isn't it? It's actually a lot of planning should really go into your contesting. It shouldn't be just something you turn up on a week and go, I want to run a contest this week because sales are down or because brand awareness down. It's actually doing that bit of foresight and actually making it seasonal, making it relevant. I guess that can come back to the certain prizes you offer. If they're seasonal, then they're relevant, and that's what people want to engage with at that time, and that makes it potentially slightly more appealing. We talked about having people know a good competition when they see one. They also know a relevant competition when they see one in terms of the time of year, for example.
Exactly, yeah. And you even have things where it's like contesting can help you depending on your time of year. So I have a client who runs a pet sitting business in this small little town in New England, and she was really struggling with her social, where her social wasn't converting anything for her, and she was heading into her slowest time of year. In the pet sitting industry, your slowest time of the year, again, is right after the holidays. So she took it upon herself. She's actually running a year-long contest where every month they're giving away something different but relevant to the time of year. And in that first month, because we put together like a really comprehensive plan that allowed for not only her her community to learn about her, like her, the person, and the face of the brand. But also, what they were giving away was really fun and silly and relevant. She was able to get more leads to her business in that month than she had in years for her business, to the point where what we do for her on her social media is her number one form of marketing for her business, over SEO and email marketing and everything like that. And through the contesting, not only does she have a regular Facebook Live schedule, and she's giving away something fun for her community, people are tuning in. She actually like gets recognized at the grocery store now, and she's getting more and more business every month, and it's helping them expand more than she could have ever hoped for, because she started with the contesting strategy.
No, I think that's a really interesting way of looking at things, and I think that's why I love sort of learning about these different terms and phrases, and actually not just that they exist, the word and what it actually means, but how you can practically apply it to either build a personal brand, build a business brand, or build personal brands within business brands. And it's something that absolutely fascinates the life out of me. Now, my cogs are really whirring here, Desiree. You've got me thinking about a lot of different things, and one of the things that you've got my brain leaning towards is obviously you're trying to reach out through these contesting to gain new visitors, new eyeballs, new awareness of people who maybe weren't necessarily aware of you before. Sometimes it's to obviously get some awareness, sort of reconnect with existing customers. That's fine, but obviously a huge part of most contests is to get new eyeballs or visits to start your website or your shop. Right? Am I right in saying that?
Of course.
So my question is people see a lot of competitions online. So how do you know that how do you as a company give that trust that if you know that you ask them to like, comment, share, whatever the competition, give your email address over, whatever it is, how as a company do you convey that confidence that, one, this is a legitimate competition and you're not going to give away your email address just for someone to have it and actually you never hear from this company again? Because I know I've entered competitions before and I've heard absolutely nothing. I'm like, I've given away my email address and I don't know who's won. I don't know when the competition is being drawn and stuff. So as a company, if I see that company again, I'm not going to enter another competition. So as a company, do you convey that trust and make people want to get involved with your competition and then come back again?
The number one job of any brand at any time, no matter what they're doing with any marketing, is to make sure that the people that are giving them their valuable attention trust them, like them, know them. And contesting is no different there. It's important to make sure that if someone new is visiting you for the first time, whether it's seeing a Facebook post or an Instagram post or a YouTube video, or you've got them hooked and they have gone to the landing page for your contest, that there is a way for them to know without any doubt that not only are you going to do exactly what you say you're going to do in the contest, but your follow-up is going to maintain your branding, and that they're going to feel comfortable giving you whatever information it is that they're giving you. I just think that there's so much needed and required by brands these days to really make sure that they're personable and relatable and fun. Like, no matter what you're doing, that just has to be the foundation of any marketing strategy, because that's what we we push at my own agency. It's like, look, I know that you're afraid of the camera. Get on it. You are the face. You are the person. I am the face of my business. Ben, you're the face of your podcast. Like, it's just how it works.
Whoa, this is a faceless podcast, Desiree. No one sees my face.
Sorry, you're the voice. You're the voice of the podcast.
Yeah, when you got a face for podcasting, you gotta hide behind the microphone. No, but I think that it is an important point, isn't it? That actually, brands have got to work really hard to build trust. Now, specifically with contesting, how can a brand, because you haven't got long to be able to convey that trust, because obviously you've literally, someone's seen your competition out there, so they've gone, oh, someone shared this competition, or maybe it's something I want to enter. How can a brand within a couple of seconds convey trust, not specifically necessarily about them or their products or wares, because this person isn't at that stage in the funnel yet, but how can a brand convey trust about that competition so they know that the data they're going to do, they are going to actually be entered into this competition, or that the winner is going to be picked fairly? How can brands do that?
So I feel like this is a twofold question. So I'm going to go over the first part, which is getting attention. So the getting attention part is all going to come down to like your copy and your visual. Obviously, you're not just going to like type a message into a newsfeed and hope for the best. You're going to want to put a lot of time and thought into that first line of your copy, and that first the way that image looks, or the first 3 to 5 seconds of any video that you make, to make sure that you're really capturing what's being said. So Geeks Who Eat, with this Infinity War thing, they want to win a free digital copy of Avengers Infinity War. I felt like that's like, yes, I would like to win one. And so it's just that idea. Will Smith is doing a contest that came out yesterday, yesterday for when this came out, where he's new to YouTube, and it's like the most genius thing on YouTube ever is Will Smith's channel. Go do it. Go follow it. But he's doing a thing where you can come celebrate his 50th birthday with him. And like the title of the video is "Come Celebrate My 50th Birthday with Me." And everyone that is in his millions of subscribers or people that are following are going to be like, yeah, I want to go spend time with Will Smith. What do I got to do? So it's about like knowing how to use that copy, that imagery in the entry of the very beginning of the video to capture people. Now, the second part is, I think, when we have to get into sort of like terms and conditions, because those are important, because you not only have to make sure that you're not breaking any of the social platform of choices rules, probably Facebook, but it's also about making sure that you've made it clear about like how people are selected, what the business will and won't do, what is expected of you as the winner and as the entrant, and all of the other sort of like fine detail that comes into that legalese that terms and conditions really just make clear for you.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I think the terms and conditions are really important, aren't they, actually, in terms of just being able to clarify. And again, if your competition doesn't have terms and conditions, that's almost like an instant red flag. And actually, there's something that they are really important just to give people a bit of peace of mind. And it's one of those things, actually, that it's a little thing, but actually, I know if I'm entering competition, I do read terms and conditions, because I sort of want to know what might happen, especially now with post-GDPR stuff, with data protection stuff. I want to know what's happening with my data and what's going on, especially if I'm handing over email address and stuff. I want to know that my data isn't going to be sold on to someone else. I'm going to end up having to clear out my spam folder again. Sort of clear out my inbox again. Sorry. So that's really important. And something else I thought is, what are your thoughts on people doing all these live draws on Facebook? Does that help build trust, or do you think, or is that something it's seen as something that actually, look, people could still game that system, whether you do like a live draw or not, or pick a number between 1 and 100, and actually, we picked out number 54, and that happens to be this person. Like, how do you actually know that 54 was that person?
So I think that people who do live drawings are trying to be as authentic as possible by saying, look, here's my bowl of numbers, or here's me doing the online generator online and things like that. I think this kind of lets people like, oh, are we going to win? It's like when people tune in for like lottery numbers. that kind of thing. Like they want to like feel it, be there. Plus, on top of it, by going live, you're also playing Facebook's algorithm game. So it also helps with that part as well. Again, my friend in New England who does the contesting, that's how she announces all of her winners, is she does a live announcement. And it works really well for her because people tune in because they want to find out if they win. But as far as like any way of knowing, I mean, we as the entrants have to just really trust that the company is doing what's best. And that's why putting in the terms and conditions how people are selected to win. So like if you're using like a third-party app that does contesting, like maybe Wishpond or Hio, they usually have a way for you to randomly, like because you're entering in digitally, all of the entrants get put into a randomizer, and then the tool has a way for it to be selected. There are number generators where maybe people put everyone who's entered into like an Excel spreadsheet, and they're given a number 1 through whatever the last number is, and you can go online and pick a number generator, and they'll say number 27 won, and whoever number 27 is, they win. That sort of thing. But I truly believe that the best thing that you can do when it comes to like winning with contests is, again, capture their emails, send an email saying to everyone who won, and then offer some sort of follow-up, or maybe they can get like 10% off product or service for the next 48 hours, or a way to like feel like they won even if they didn't.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense, isn't it? That live does give that, it gives that little bit of trust in it. And I think the example you mentioned in there of your friend actually doing the announcement live, I think that's a great way of being able to get that secondary engagement, not only to improve sort of your algorithm stuff, but get that secondary level of engagement, because that way you get people to already come back. Whereas I know sometimes I've entered a competition, again, I've never come back because I didn't know anything about it. Whereas actually if they go live, and obviously if they've liked the page, they usually get a notification saying this page is going live or this person's going live. I think that's an amazing way of actually being able to get that secondary level of engagement. Again, second point of contact. Once you get that second point of contact, you're more likely to get that third, fourth, fifth point, and it ending in a physical transaction in terms of either buying your product, good, service, or offering, whatever it is.
Yes, and then if you're also doing your contest to ultimately try and get something out of it, so like if you're trying to get that UGC, the user-generated content, it also, by going live or doing some sort of video or something to follow up, especially because what you're asking something like physical, like I would say, take a picture with our product. Like let's say we're in summer, take a picture with our product at the beach or whatever you're doing with, or take it with you on your end of summer adventures, and then you're able to kind of like use that image, like this is the one that won. And then you also have all of the other ones that everybody else was posting and doing as kind of like a fun visual way for people to feel involved. It's kind of like everybody wants to be on the kissing cam at a baseball game. I think it's kind of that thing. They want to know that what they did has been recognized.
Yeah, I think that's a very American analogy for that one. Hey, no, but no, we all understand it though. Again, isn't it? It's one of those things. People do love that sort of thing, and I think there's one other question that's sort of really burning on my mind that I want to ask you before we sort of wrap this up, Desiree. And you mentioned about the live video and actually the algorithm. I said, and I know that Facebook will, as use Facebook as our example, will penalise. It has a tendency of penalising competitions because they don't create the level of engagement. Now, when I talked about it being spammy at the start, is can competitions be penalised through the algorithm for just encouraging people to just share stuff without having that meaningful engagement? Do competitions create meaningful engagement, or do they actually generally get a lot of algorithm penalties these days? And how can you avoid those penalties if they do?
The number one thing you can do to avoid getting in any sort of doghouse with Facebook is make sure you know what the terms and conditions are around contesting at the time that you're doing contesting, because they can change things. They're changing things all the time. So it's important for you while you're going through your contest to make sure that you know where the rules stand. But mainly the big thing with Facebook right now is they just don't want you doing things that they don't want to do. I think at the time of this recording, like you can do a contest where people can have to like your page and tag a friend to enter to win. So I think it's just more about making sure that you've educated yourself about like what you can and can't do on the social media contesting platform of choice so that you are able to run your contest as best as you can. As far as like an algorithm go, Facebook doesn't see going live as of now as what your topic is about, so they're going to penalize it. That usually comes down to like the second hand, like I've gone live, I've done my announcement, and then someone's reported this video for some reason, or it says titling that we have flagged at headquarters that is something that we have to investigate, and then from that it'll determine whether it gets devalued. But usually it's not about it being devalued because live is very popular. How live works is the longer you're live, the more Facebook likes you, as of now. So when it comes to like the concern, basically I think that you'll either the video will be removed or not on that end.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? I think that's just something that it was sort of burning in my mind. I thought it was an important question because I know some of the people listening will probably have that question in my mind because obviously no one wants to be penalised by any of these social platforms because sometimes it's like the lifeblood of your business. It's how you get new business. So I think it's really important that people understand that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if we were to like list out exactly what you needed to do on a really basic level of doing a contest, it's think about your audience, figure out why you're going to run this contest, research the platform you want to use on, do the terms and conditions, like go through and figure out what you can do on their platform, what you can't do on their platform, and then what you're expecting from people who are entering. And then build a landing page where people can enter to win, not just like something like, oh, go to my website, but something very like a specific branded landing page dedicated to the contest. And then figure out how you're going to promote it, whether it's through ads, through your email list, through your lives. Making sure that you're finding that balance between the amount of promotion of time and money that you're investing matches the value of the prize. And then after you've announced your winner, make sure you follow up with everybody in some kind of way, saying, even if it's just to announce the winner and then give them hope for what's next. That way they don't feel like they were just turned and burned for their email or their like. But no. So Susie Joe won, but this is what we have coming up next to keep you guys interested in us. And I feel like if you were to kind of use that base structure for your contest, that you would have success at any point. But just remember, it does take testing, and it does take planning, and it does take time.
I think that's a beautiful little summary there to sort of wrap that up. And I want to sort of leave everyone with that because that was such an impactful sort of little summary there, and I think that was just sort of cleared everything up quite nicely and give you nice, tangible, actionable, step-by-step guidance there. So thank you so much for coming on today, Desiree. It's been really insightful, and I think this has given me some food for thought in terms of running social competitions, and I know that it's actually helped clear up some of those questions that I had about how to run a social competition, so thank you so much. But before I let you go today, Desiree, I've got to ask you the question that I ask every guest when they come on this show. And I think you know what's coming. And it's, what is your favourite marketing buzzword that's out there right now? What's really making you go, yes, I love this word, I love this term? And what marketing buzzword are you absolutely hating right now? What makes you sort of clench your fists in anger or stamp your feet on the floor with like, stop using it?
Oh man, I actually did not prepare for this question. I am sorry, but I think that the one I love right now is honestly, I love video marketing. I love that is where we are as marketers and where we are as like a culture where we're like, I want to see people talk and do something. And I just have been consuming so much content, and I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, I can't believe it took me this long to like get on this YouTube video train, because this has made my life so much easier. And so I love it. I pick video over anything any day. And I would say that probably something that I really hate right now, I can't. I mean, without sounding cliche, there's nothing in online marketing I do hate right now. I think that everything is so it's all about what is right for the different brands, and so one word for one place is going to mean so much things so much different than another. So it's really hard for me to be like, you know what I really hate? I really hate Facebook ads, or I really hate email marketing. I really hate this or that, the other. I think it's just all about, you know what? I correct myself. You know what I hate? I hate bad LinkedIn messages. That's what I
Oh,
hate right now. I hate canned LinkedIn messages where they clearly didn't even take the time to like read my profile or look at even like what I do for my job. I hate LinkedIn messages right now.
yes, that is one way you get just random DSO emails are still one of my pet hates, where you get and you can see like where they've highlighted something in bold, and they've just either not replaced it. They've obviously, it's a nice canned message and they're supposed to replace things, and they go, dear Ben from company, like, oh, you really, like you could have, you still wouldn't have got away with it, but at least would have had some appreciation that you could have at least got like most of the way there.
Right. Yeah. That's where I'm at right now. I
Oh,
had to pick
brilliant.
something I hated. But I do think, though, that for the most part, marketing overall, some things work for some places and they don't work for others. And I think it's just about context and relevancy.
Oh, it's a cop out, Desiree, but I'll give it to you because you've been such a good guest today. It's a cop out, but I'm not going to hold it against you. Hey,
Thanks. I appreciate that.
hey, no, thanks so much for coming on, Desiree, today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Yes. I mean, social contesting was one of those words that I heard, and I was like, I think I know what a contest is. But I like sort of hearing these little caveats where it means actually it becomes a slightly different thing when it's used on a different platform. And I love the way that Desiree articulated what a social contesting is and how it's important and how you can run it, and actually how you build that trustworthiness for it, and actually how, I'm trying to think of the right words here, how it really it depends upon the perception of your business. The more trust you have in your business, the more impact you're able to have from your social contesting strategy. And I think it's a fascinating topic, the one that I think that if you are looking at running a social media competition, take away some of the stuff that Desiree mentioned in here, and I think you're going to go far. Before I let you go, though, I need to remind you again, please, if you haven't got involved in the crowdfunding campaign, literally days left of this, like 4 days, something like that, left of the campaign. So please, if you are enjoying the show and you are thinking, shoot, I really need to get involved, literally less than 4 days from the time that this episode came out. So Marketing Buzzword to Marketing Authority, there's a link through the website. Thank you very much. I'm back on Thursday with another bite-sized buzzword. Goodbye.
This podcast is part of the You Are the Media Network.